So I kept feeling like the space in my house needed something softer in it, and I didn't want anything busy, just something simple and neutral, and so I made this. But the cool thing is that it can hang on the wall or sit on a shelf, and I like that it's versatile. Here's how I put it together. So I had this piece of wood, and I was just going to build the shadow box. But I tell you what, this piece of wood gave me so much frustration. The sides kept coming apart. I had to cut the blocks to fit, and I think I had to glue them 2 or 3 times together. I put those stencils on the back of it. It was those stencils are from Dollar Tree, and then I just used white chalk paint to paint the box. I just used some beige to distress the corners and the outside of the box. And I took the pie plate, or not pie pan, I took the bundt pan and I used some wax on it. And I wiped that out, and that didn't do anything. I tried to blow dry that clear wax to speed things along. And it didn't do anything. So once I had that done, then I took the paint and I put some water in it, the burnt umber. I was trying to do just the creases so that it looked aged. And I went ahead and wiped it out, leaving in the creases kind of. And it was looking a little bit more like I wanted. So then at this point, I took the antique rub and I put it on the cloth there and I rubbed the whole thing in. Then it finally looked how I wanted it to. Then with the darker paint in there, in the creases, it turned out really nice. I took some, I don't know, tulle or I guess, and I just put a thin little layer on the back. And then I had heard, and I don't remember where, that somebody used an old ribbon container for a nest. So I thought I would try that because you can see I have a nest there, but it just didn't fit in there right. So I took that old ribbon container and glued it in there and built my nest around that. It worked pretty good. I don't know that it worked out exactly how the person who did it, I wish I could remember who, did theirs, but I guess it wasn't a fail. I was having a hard time getting that tulle in there the way that I wanted it though. I just wanted it peeking, not a big statement in there in the back. Took some dried flowers and just kind of fanned them out in the back there. I was really having a hard time getting that bottom to stay in there. Obviously, hot glue doesn't hold it very good, but I couldn't even get it to temporarily hold it. So then I just wanted 3 of those in there, and I can't even remember what they're called. So here's where I thought, well, I would take some grapevine and try to bend it, and it kept breaking on me. So I started putting them in piece by piece, just until I could get a little bit of a base. And then I put in the Spanish moss and glued it to my board, put the egg in there, and decided that I wanted more Spanish moss up around the egg. So I did that. Then I decided that I needed more shadow in the white box there because something didn't feel right. It just didn't feel like it went together. It felt like it was put together, but that it didn't belong together, I guess, or I don't know. I can't explain it. It just didn't feel right. Something didn't feel right, and everything I tried just felt off. Once I had it all done, I decided I didn't like it. So I found a different box that was much deeper, and I put the antique wax on that and wiped it off, and it gave me a real nice golden tone. I then put a doily in the back, so I used my sticky glue and I placed it in there. I kind of ruffled it a little bit so that it wasn't just flat against the back there. Once I did that, I took a tumbling tower block to lift up the bottom of it a little bit because otherwise it sat forward too much. Used some hot glue for that instant hold and E6000 for that permanent. I really like how this turned out. It's simple, but it still felt finished, and I'll probably leave it up year round. If you like this kind of neutral farmhouse project, I share more of them every week. Like, subscribe, so you get notifications. Turn those notifications on so you know when I do the next one, usually Tuesdays and Thursdays. And there you have it. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in the next one.